Josh, and I have not one, but two guests today. I've got like a tag team going on here because it's like, hey, I usually just have one guest. Now you get double the trouble. And, hey, I like to talk, so the more people to talk with, the better. And on top of that, I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about today. So it could be an absolute shitstorm that I am very much here for. It's like my favorite thing to do. But I have got, this is like probably the most long overdue chat probably with anybody in the entire like wrestling Twitter world, whatever you want to call them. I have got Robert and Jordan from Royally Rumbled here. Thank you we're finally doing this. Finally.
It's like, very excited.
Absolutely.
How are you guys, by the way? We were like chatting for like forever before we even started recording. We are in a bit of a crazy time in the world. How are you guys holding up?
I'm doing all right, you know, just trying to crank out some content and you know, just stay busy. My girlfriend is also working, so she goes to work and I sit at home and clean the house and play video games. And, you know, sometimes I'll get a text from people from work saying, hey, we need you to come in and do this thing real quick. But other than that, whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, just holding up.
You're still at work, Robert, you said, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm still working. Initially, I lost a day, and we got some loan or something like that, so I'm back up to full bore. So I didn't lose any time or any hours or anything like that. So
relatable. I'm still at work as well, as everybody knows. So it's just it's a weird time in the world, but hey, let's focus on the positive side of this because that stuff can be so depressing when you think about it for too long. Like, honestly. So let's focus on the positive side of the word. Positive side of this is that, Jordan, you said you got a lot more extra time to crank out content, and I'm going to put you guys over for a minute because I watched that draft yesterday, and that shit was crazy because I'm sorry, I am Team Raw. I'm Team Robert here because he's got Lay Cool, he's got William Regal, and he's got Candice Michelle. I mean, what can really go wrong? And if you don't book Candice Michelle and book her to the moon, I'm going to be pissed.
That's fair.
The gauntlet has been thrown down.
But it was really, really cool to see you guys do some other stuff. When I seen the screenshots on Twitter of like game stuff, I'm like, oh, I'm in. I'm gonna watch all of this. So I guess with all this extra time and stuff like that, obviously talk about a little bit about what your show really is, how did this come to be, and where you kind of see it all going with all this new content, I guess you could say.
Well, Robert, you want to start?
So, I mean, in October, when WWE changed their schedule from Tuesday Night SmackDown to live Friday Night SmackDown, that sort of, for us, killed our initial idea of the podcast that we were comfortable doing month over month as prediction shows for each pay-per-view. Because there wasn't a lot of shelf time to begin with for those episodes because we were putting them out on Thursday?
Yeah.
Before a weekend of wrestling, whether it was Saturday NXT, Sunday pay-per-view, or just the Sunday pay-per-view. So we didn't think like Friday Night SmackDown record Saturday morning, have the episode up for Sunday. It didn't really make sense. So we kind of had to think of something else, and we spun our wheels a little bit on some other things. And then
but we tried things, and that's kind of why I was happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, we tried the week over week NXT AEW thing, and that almost killed all of my interest in wrestling altogether.
Yep.
So I didn't watch. I watched like pay-per-views through the Royal Rumble, and then I've kind of been in and out since then. Like, it really threw me for a loop. And it was only like 3 or 4 weeks of those episodes, and it absolutely was so detrimental to what I liked about wrestling.
Because it made it feel like work.
Yeah.
And it's not fun. And we had a long conversation about it, just saying how like it should be fun, and the things that we talk about should interest us. We shouldn't be watching wrestling because, oh, well, we have to do a podcast, gotta watch wrestling. Like there were
Yeah.
nights where we would be texting each other being like, I mean, could only one of us watch it tonight, or like how is this gonna go? But yeah, so I'm glad that we kind of rebounded from that. We did like the Legacy Spotlight Edge episode, which was a lot of fun to do. We had a couple more of those planned. It just uh, recording content for us kind of got weird when we dedicate also the same amount of time to the other podcast that we have for Pop Cannon.
Yep.
And we do episodes for that bi-weekly. So, I mean, you create a ton of content. I mean, with the network and everything, it's so much work, and it should be fun. It should feel rewarding. It shouldn't feel like detrimental to your enjoyment.
Yeah. And also, like, you just kind of, I've had plenty of times when you just kind of like, oh, here we go, I got to record a podcast. It's like another day that I got to do this, and then also editing it and then putting it out and then promoting it. It's like, that's a whole day's worth of just sitting in front of a computer, really, when you think about all the stuff that goes into it. And it can just kind of be like, I never wanted, I always said if I do that, if I get too much where I'm just like, I'm not going to do it anymore if it takes away the fun. Because it's not like we're here to make money off of this stuff, or we're here because millions and millions of people are listening to us. It's because, for the most part, it's just kind of us enjoying what we're doing. And I never wanted to suck the fun. Wrestling is always like my number one thing, and I never want to suck the fun out of wrestling. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've been watching wrestling for about 19 years, and I've never had a break. I've never stopped watching wrestling. A lot of people that I talk to throughout like the couple of years that I've been doing this are always like, oh, we took a break for a couple of years. And I'm like, am I the odd one out here that's just never taken a break from wrestling?
It's so I've taken breaks, but they were it was never a conscious, like, I've decided I'm no longer going to watch, and then for whatever reason decide to get back into it. There were circumstances when I was younger beyond my control, like not having cable.
Yeah.
Which put me out for like 2 or 3 years. I missed all of Rated RKO. I had no idea that was a thing when I came back into watching wrestling. Didn't even know. And they hardly talked about it. So I saw like a clip one time and I was like, they were holding tag title belts. When the fuck? But I think I got back like full time into watching. It was probably like 2009, 2010.
Okay.
But I watched WCW when it was good, and then I changed over to the Attitude Era Monday Night Raw. Then through the early 2000s up to probably I don't remember the year. It was like there was a certain point where I stopped watching it, and then like 3 years later came back. Yeah. But it's always been a thing that I've thought about and enjoyed watching and all that.
Yeah, for me, like Robert, never taking full conscious breaks from wrestling, but I grew up with it. My older brother was a fan, so literally when I was born, he was like pinning me and like doing like wrestling moves and stuff to me all the time. So I just kind of never grew out of it, quote unquote, as my family would like to say. But yeah, there were points where, and then I actually trained to do wrestling. So I competed on like the PA, New York, New Jersey independent scene for about 5-ish years, 6-ish years. I'm still kind of involved. I do commentary and stuff. I don't wrestle because I'm ridiculously out of shape. But
Drop names.
I've worked with Raven. I've worked with Shane Strickland in like ladder matches and stuff. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. I've done cage matches, ladder matches. I've had title matches. I've landed on thumbtacks. I've done some crazy stuff, but it was a lot of fun. It was a good time in my life. I made a lot of really interesting friends from it that I'm still very close with to this day. So
that seems cool. I'm the same as you. My family have always kind of said Josh has just never grown out of wrestling. My older brother, I've been watching wrestling because of my older brother as well. He was watching. I started like remembering like vivid memories of wrestling in about 2001. Like I'm talking like Invasion. So I popped in and can remember like straight after the really good time. I come in at the Invasion time and but I know that I was watching earlier than that. I just can't remember it. Like my brother said my favorite as a kid was Gold Dust. When I was like little, was Gold Dust of all people. And I used to play Warzone on the PlayStation 1 and I used to exclusively play as I still can't play that game by the way. I still don't know the buttons. But you know,
I just remember going in and creating I just remember going in and creating like the arenas and stuff. And you could change the rope colors. So I changed the rope color to blue for SmackDown.
And ECW Hardcore Revolution, which was exactly the same game, just ECW people. And I used to always like change it, and I was like, I used to have so much fun with those games. Like I said, still don't know what I'm doing in them. Even if I put them on today, I'm like, I don't know how to play this. I don't think I've ever successfully won a match because I'm always like, how do you pin? How do you do this? I don't get it. But
the very first SmackDown game for PS1, I was actually looking through a photo album yesterday. And there's pictures from like my 10th birthday party where I had like 4 or 5 friends sleep over, and that's what we did until like 4 o'clock in the morning was play that game.
Yeah. That sounds like a good
and
time
like
now.
The create a wrestler was you had to wear a piece of somebody. Like you could wear Matt Hardy's pants with the Undertaker's shirt or something like that.
And you
like
used to think, I used to think when I made those people, I was like, this is the coolest looking character I've ever seen. He's going to be the world champion.
Created wrestler. Everybody wears what Kane wears. Yeah. That was my goal. That's all I did. Everybody wore Kane's attire.
Oh, here's a bad story. Just Bring It. I mean, iconic game just for the commentary alone. But I used to so I was a big Rob Van Dam guy when I was a kid. So I just wanted to be Rob Van Dam. I thought he was the coolest dude. So I don't know if I've ever said this before, but I used to make a character on Just Bring It. Called Joshua Van Dam.
Nice.
and it was just RVD, but instead of having long hair, he had short hair because I always had short hair. So, you know, he looked like me.
Nice.
Then. And I always used to have the exact same moves as RVD, everything. It was just RVD, everything, and I was just Joshua instead of Rob. And I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I was like, oh my God, I've just made like the greatest character. I've just improved Rob Van Dam without even realizing it.
Sure.
Like, this is the best.
The new and improved version.
There's a character in every WWE game that I make. We always make ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we make ourselves a tag team, and then we community create, drop them to one another, so then we can play as one another together. And we always, whenever he comes hanging out, we always do like one match against one another as each other.
Yeah. I never made myself in newer games because my name isn't very like cool. So I'd be like, I don't want to use Josh. Like, what wrestler's name is Josh? No one, like, not many. Like, the first thing in wrestling I think of is Josh Matthews, and nobody wants to think of that. So I'm like, I'm just not here for it. So I was just like, I'll just create something cooler.
I always my last name is Yezi, so I always just use the preloaded Jesse, and it works well enough.
For the
but
commentary.
I always make a guy who wears a mask, and the look change. I think I've been making him since I don't know if it was Here Comes the Pain or Just Bring It. Which one were they super glossy? The characters.
I think that was Shut Your Mouth.
That was Shut Your Mouth.
Okay.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Since that game, I've made this guy named Phantom. And he wears Kane's old 2002 mask where it's not the full face, but it like does around the nose.
Yeah.
And his like color scheme's white and black. And I make him every year, and I change his moveset every year.
Hell yeah. I mean, we can
hit me with like the Steiner screwdriver.
Yes. He's brutal. What do you want?
I was always that guy until it became cool to do these. I was always that guy that had my finisher as a super kick, but then everyone started doing a super kick. I need a better move, so I always just gave him the crossface. I love
nice.
That move. I just like a good crossface, just a normal like take him down and tap him out.
Yep.
So I was always a crossface guy. And for some reason, the dude that I always make, I can't remember his name, but I always make him to always be from Canada. I don't know why. I just thought Canadians bred good wrestlers, so I was like, he could just be from Canada and he could just be like a wrestling guy. And that was always my character. He was like just the generic is all hell. Like, you know,
There you go.
generic is all hell. But, you know, always had a sharpshooter in there. He always did a sharpshooter because he's Canadian. They all have to do sharpshooters. That's just the rule.
You have to. I think you don't get your high school diploma unless you can do a
I
sharpshooter.
don't think you can get Canadian citizenship. Like, you know, you're not Canadian until you do a sharpshooter. So you got to get that. So that just was standard. And then he did a crossface. But that was just me. We'll briefly touch on this because it's very topical at the moment. There's going to be no 2K21 this year. They've kind of come out and said no simulated game. They have some kind of announcement coming out. It'll actually already be out by the time this drops this week. But we don't know what that announcement is. I'm assuming it's some kind of probably arcade-ish kind of game or something around those terms. That would be my guess. But it's pretty crazy to think for the first time, really, since the original SmackDown game, we're not getting a simulated WWE game in the calendar. So here's my question to both of you. Firstly, thoughts on that abomination that was 2K20, and what is your kind of feelings on not getting a sim game this year?
I talked Jordan out of getting 2K20 at launch.
Good move. Good move.
And it was work. I had to work to convince him to not buy it. And
because I love buying those games.
Me
I love
too.
playing
I
them.
got it as well, and I was like, oh, this was a mistake.
I just felt like where there's smoke, there's fire. And I was like, just wait. If you're gonna, you could get it. Just wait. Maybe they'll fix the bugs.
Yeah.
I did not get it. I've never played. It was free WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah, for Xbox
and I
players.
didn't want to even move the space on my Xbox to get the free version.
Wow. Yeah, my brother was the same.
I got the free version and I played it for a little while, and I mainly focused in just the showcase mode. I just kind of messed around a little bit in like other modes, but it was really glitchy. Like,
oh my
God, I had some glitches happen in the limited amount of time that I played it.
Dude, the amount of times that game has crashed on me when I'm just doing normal shit, and I'm like, why would that crash? I'm just using in-game characters in exhibition mode. What the fuck?
I was just in community creations and it crashed on me.
Yeah, it blue screen.
Right after I booted it up.
I have a PlayStation, it blue screens on me like every time I play that thing, and I've had it since day one. And I was like, I remember playing the first match, and I was like, I played as Molly Holly first because I'm a freaking mark. But I was like, I'm gonna play, and I'm like, okay, seems alright. Like, alright. First match, second match, crashed, and I was like, oh no. First half an hour and it's crashed. That's a good sign. And then it crashed some more, and then it crashed some more, and then every time I try to play Showcase, I still haven't finished the Showcase because I can't get past the last match because it just crashes every time. I can't finish that mode. I can't get the trophy for it. So all I want to do it for is just to get the trophy, so it's just completed, and I can't. I get to the last cutscene in the match and it crashes. So I'm like, get fucked.
Oh my God.
I played like career mode and stuff like that, and that was kind of wacky, and that's what I kind of liked about it because it was just so batshit crazy that I was like, all right, at least I can get some enjoyment and laugh at this. Universe is broken. Like, I can see clearly user doing 2K19 universe because 2K20s is just broken. It's just broken. I only use
2K19 is a great game.
Yeah, it is. It's like, that was such a, like, it wasn't like a perfect game, but I was like, compared to 2K20, it's perfect. But it worked. It flowed really nicely. You could create, I feel like you could recreate kind of what's on television with it, and that's what I look for in a wrestling game. That simulation.
Same.
I'm more of a simulation kind of than an arcade. I mean, I enjoy arcade wrestling games, but I'm more of
Jordan needs the arenas to match the time frame.
I'm the same.
Legitimately.
And when theme songs don't match to the people in the game, I won't use them. I just don't use that character.
Oh, it irritates me to no end. I don't like using creative wrestlers most of the time because like I have to use the in-game music and it ruins it for me. Sometimes when I'm just sitting at home playing, I'll mute the TV and then tell my Alexa to play whatever song.
We're the same. So PlayStations have Spotify integrated, so you can play the music over the in-game music, and still has the commentary.
Xbox does that too.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And I sometimes will be like, but then WWE don't upload any of their freaking songs to their Spotify anymore, so I can't do that. And I'm like, I'm not playing as Bailey. It's just not happening. Sorry, Bailey. You're not getting used. She just sits on there and just cries. So I'm just like, whatever.
I cry
about that when I play that game too.
because like when I loaded it up, I went in to like reset all the champions to who they currently
Oh,
are.
oh my god.
And yeah, I was just like, man, I can't believe how outdated this game was.
Oh, when I first got it, I was like, the first thing I did, because obviously WWE changed everything in October, and that game came out in like the middle of October, end of October.
Which, like,
bullshit.
I
understand that,
but
then
like,
the first thing I did was like, I have to go and make these arenas or download them from Community Creations because I refuse to use them. I'm not here to play a classic game. I'm here to play a current game. We're the same person, Jordan. So I just won't use the people.
We are.
If
When
now
we were-
all
when
these
we were
release
setting
peoples, I'm like, not using them. Not using them. They're not
When we were-
WWE anymore.
When we were setting up the 2008 universe, he was going through and telling me to write down specific logos that he still needed to make it authentic.
I'd be the same.
And
Otherwise, I wouldn't
of
do it.
specific arenas, like you're gonna get Backlash 2008's arena with the Backlash 2008 logos, and it's gonna be in the correct city.
Oh my god, we
Like-
are the same person.
We I tried to do the full because they had like 15 pay-per-views that year, but we wound up just agreeing to can some of them and keep it. We're going 11 pay-per-views. We want extra build for WrestleMania.
The way it should
But-
be.
Yay,
Yeah.
I agree.
But yeah,
and you're doing Cyber Sunday, so that's all I care about.
And we
can't
realized
remember
that while we were doing the draft. So while we were filming it, I was just like, we're gonna have Cyber Sunday. I got so excited. I was
I'll
like, dude,
vote
we're
in
doing
every one
Twitter
of those
polls and stuff.
I want Mickey James in a bikini, thank you. You remember on Cyber Sundays when you'd pick what divas wore? It was like, do you want to dress like a schoolgirl or do you want to dress them like a maid? I'm like, I'm 16 and I'm all about it. Yeah, get them in a maid
absolutely.
costume. Or schoolgirl. I'm not gonna, no
Right.
kink shaming here.
Yeah.
Josh quickly corrected so he didn't get a million emails from people going, "What's wrong with a schoolgirl?"
Yeah, I got like attacked on Twitter. I got attacked on Twitter yesterday. I deleted the tweet.
Did you?
It was, because I like Hayley Williams, and that music is for girls.
Me too.
Oh no!
Well,
Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's nice. I'm like, I was trolling by the end, but the first comment was like, please explain to me what girl music is. So then, just so I'm aware. And he said that boys listen to rock music and girls listen to pop music. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Didn't know that.
and he has dinosaurs on his bedroom wallpaper, and his sister has princesses.
And
No.
that's it.
I was like, okay, cool. And then so then he just kept replying. So I just kept posting Hayley Williams lyrics and just writing different things. And he was like, what are you talking about? And then I was like, I'm just going to block this person now. But it was
That's
like a whole
amazing.
thread. And I was like, I'm deleting this. I don't need this on my Twitter.
Oh man.
But yeah, all I did was post about Hayley Williams. And I was like,
See,
I
I love Hayley Williams. I love Paramore. I've seen them live. They're great.
I have too.
Fantastic.
3 times.
Nice.
They come to Adelaide and I was like, I'm going all 3 times. I don't care if it's going to practically be the same show. I don't care. I'm going. The first ever, hey, here's something. Music is, like, I love music to bits. I think you're pretty much a psychopath if you don't like music. But what was the first concert you guys ever went to? Because mine was the Black Eyed Peas.
Okay. Black
Peas.
Eyed Peas, like Boom Boom Pow. Black
I'm
Eyed
talking-
Peas.
Yeah, it was like Boom Boom Pow.
Or-
Fergie nearly
or
fell
like,
off the stage. It was...
Oh shit!
Yeah, she was like walking, and I was like in like the right at the front, and I was like, "Oh, there's Fergie." I'm like, "Ah, Fergie." I was like 15, 14, something like that at that age. And I was like, "Hey, it's Fergie," and then she was like, "Ah," and I'm like, "Oh my god!" And I fell on my Fergie.
I feel like she's probably done that
Oh,
a couple of times
absolutely.
by now, at least.
I can't remember. I don't know. Like, I feel like there was a news story that she either fell off stage or she pissed herself. On
Well,
probably done both.
she definitely pissed herself. I remember that.
You remember that
That's
one?
the
Probably
thing.
both at
That's the
once.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Fergie.
Um,
Much
First
love, Black
concert.
Eyed Peas. If you're listening to this, which I know you are, Black Eyed Peas,
course.
just much love to you. Where is the love is a banger.
Where is
still.
the love?
Well, it's still today. Where is the love? Everyone seems to hate one another. So where
See,
is
now
the
you need
love?
to do a TikTok to Where is the Love.
You don't need to tell me to do TikToks because I'll post about 7 more before the day's over.
Dude, I'll sit there watching. Not to get too off topic here, but I'll sit there with
Go
my
for it.
girlfriend And I don't have TikTok, but she does, and I'll
Yeah.
watch her TikToks,
Yes.
and I'll go through the timeline with her, and we'll just laugh at random TikToks,
That's
and
every day.
I'll just constantly write down ideas, and I'm like, hey, you should make this for a video. You should do this for a video.
Jordan's trying to help create her content for
Oh,
her.
my TikTok game is so like it's pretty embarrassing. So I could be in bed. It could be like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm about to fall asleep, and I get an idea for a TikTok, and I have to do it right then. Like I have to get out of bed. I get dressed. I'm like, because I'm not I'm just in bed, so I have to get dressed, and then I'm like, okay, let's turn on all of the lights because I got to get the correct lighting. I want it to hit my face nicely and be like, you got to look nice. And then I post it, and then like 2 people like it, and I'm like, oh, thank you. But then the ones that I don't put any effort into gets the most views, and I'm like, huh. I don't
Of course.
understand TikTok. But yeah, TikTok is great. I'll talk about TikTok all day. I can't remember what we were talking about, but
so no, here I'll circle back. I'll circle back to it. So the question was, what was the first concert that we've ever gone to? And you'll get a kick out of this. I don't know if Robert knows this or not. I think he does. My first concert was the Backstreet Boys.
Oh my God, what a dream!
And at the Hershey Park Arena.
Yes,
it was like 2000 or like 98 or something like that.
I was like literally like 3 years old.
Yeah, but that was my first concert. It was a lot of fun.
I'm jealous, man. The Backstreet Boys.
Wow.
They were Backstreet Boys.
That was when they were doing like some Wire stuff too.
Oh my God!
They were like going. Great show.
I would have been like, so Backstreet Boys or NSYNC? What's better? I think I'm Backstreet Boys.
See, I think NSYNC, but I don't know. I was always like big into both of those. I was not a fan of 98 Degrees though. Did not care for them.
I was like violently against them. I was like violently like, don't come near me with that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That one clearly made up. My first concert was at a small venue in the town that I lived in at the time. But my mom, when I was in 6th grade, took me to see the Monkees. Oh. Like the Monkees from the 1960s television program.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
the knockoff of the Beatles, the Monkees.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Wow, what a first story. I mean, I don't know if it beats the Backstreet Boys just because look at them.
But like their music is actually like, I've listened to it back as an adult because it's really fun to go back to things that you knew as a kid when you're older. And I was like, dude, this really isn't that bad. Like,
you just like vibing.
If I were to that kind of music, like this isn't awful. And then my first concert that I paid money to see was Mastodon in Philadelphia. I saw
Josh has no idea who Mastodon is.
I'm like, Mastodon? Okay, cool. Yeah. I'll do the whole like, awesome.
Right.
So they're like a heavy metal band, basically. Okay. I've seen Mastodon in concert before. Someone threw an orange at the guitarist. Yeah.
I don't mean to one up you here, but I've seen Fozzy.
Okay.
I seen Fozzy at a festival here in Adelaide, and it was like a big rock music festival, and it was the one and only festival I've ever gone to. And I just remember Paramore were on the show. That was mainly the reason I went.
That's awesome.
Just before Paramore, the stage next to him was Fozzy for like 45 minutes, and I was like, "That's Chris Jericho. I'm going to watch."
That's awesome.
And I was just like, "This is the weirdest shit ever." They sang Sandpaper, and I was like, "Oh hell yeah!"
That's awesome.
Sandpaper. I was like, "What is this?" Because I only knew like 2 Fozzy songs, like the main ones that everybody knew at that time. This was in like 2011, maybe.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, like a good 9 years ago. Maybe even 2010, I'm not sure. But yeah, they sang like Enemy. That's what everyone kind of knew.
That was the song. Yeah.
That was the song. And I was just like, oh, that's cool. And then they played like other songs. And I was like, they was playing like something called like Spider in My Hair. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, it's Chris Jericho. I don't care. There was a Y2J chant in the crowd. And I was like, that's pretty lit. I was like, that's
I
cool.
remember they used to advertise Fozzy in like 2000, 2001 on Raw.
Yeah.
For him. Like they would talk about his band. And I always thought like, oh, that's probably just like a fake band for whatever, like, I don't know why I thought that. I just thought it was part of like the show. Like, oh yeah, he's a rock and roll guy, so that's part of his character. I thought that they were like, they would have clips and shit like that, and I'd be like, all right, well, yeah, it's not beyond them to put somebody in a studio to make a fake band. Like, that would make sense.
Yeah, well,
we've learned that's not the case.
Well, like, obviously, yeah, we know now it isn't, but what? Really, it's not like Fozzy with this big, huge band that you really would know any different. I knew Fozzy because of wrestling. I wouldn't know Fozzy if I didn't know wrestling. Although they make better music now than they probably ever have. Like, Judas is a fantastic song, and I don't know some of the other names of their songs, but I listened to them like, this is pretty good. It's a little bit more, I don't really know the word. It's just a little bit more like, I don't want to be that guy, but it's a little bit like more mainstream, I guess would be the word. Like, it's just a little bit more tame, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not bad at all.
It's definitely like clean and very produced.
Yeah. I think they're signed to like Sony Records or something now. Like they're on some big label.
Like, oh wow, yeah, it's real.
Yeah,
they're no longer a band that I thought was fake that was part of his gimmick.
I mean, I like that story better anyway, so I might just go with that. Hey, do you guys remember? Some people do know this and some people don't, but I feel like you guys will. Do you remember the WWE Originals CD?
Yes.
When they sang all different kinds of songs. Okay, so I listened to that more than I like to admit. But I know all the words to all of the songs on that CD. I had that. I remember going into a CD shop and buying that CD in like 2003 or whenever it came out. And I made my nana drive me to the store and get it. And I just remember listening to that thing on repeat. And
you were like, I need to hear John Cena rap right now.
Yeah, they would literally play it on Raw, and like Booker T was like coming out to, "Can you dig it?" And I was like, I have to own this. Like, I just have to own this. And I just remember, do you remember like the bonus DVD that came with that, and you would like watch it and they would be recording it? Do you remember that?
Okay, yeah, it was like
because Stacy Keibler is something I'll never get out of my head. She was holding the earphones like to like, you know, the whole thing, and she was like dancing, and I was like, this is the greatest piece of content I've ever seen. Even at 8 years old, I knew that.
Stacy Keibler out of my head either. So
hey, we all can't. She has got the legs.
I think she was my first. I think she was the first woman that I ever saw in anything and was like, I'm in love. I love someone, and I'm gonna save myself for her.
Bless. How's that going?
I hate to break it to her, but I'm not available anymore.
Oh damn, she must be like just listening to this going,
devastated.
Oh no. She's probably crying.
She came off of that relationship with George Clooney, and I just wasn't there.
Damn.
I feel bad about it.
Maybe in another lifetime. But yes, that WWE Original CD was just like something amazing. I seen Jordan just kind of lose his mind then when I mentioned it. So what the hell is going on in your brain?
So when we went to see SmackDown 1000, we went to the restaurant, which was right next to the arena, and we were like eating dinner or whatever, and someone, I guess, went onto the jukebox and started playing music from that CD. So it was Kurt Angle's entrance music where he was like singing "I Don't Suck" and stuff, and like John Cena's music and stuff like that. So that's what made me think of it. And like the random people.
Yeah,
I was going to say like the random people. That was the William Hung.
Yes.
She Bangs.
Yes, the
song.
American Idol William Hung She Bangs cut somebody put on also.
Oh man.
But that restaurant was full of wrestling fans waiting for SmackDown 1000 to start, and we were sitting there eating. I think we were pretty much done, and Kofi Kingston walked through and was like mobbed by people.
Oh, hell
immediately.
Yeah.
We didn't even bother trying.
No, I just stood there and I was like, he's right there, but I am not going to be that fucking guy.
Oh my god, I was the same. So when I went to Super Showdown in Melbourne a couple years ago, I was sitting in a KFC just eating my food with my sister, and I'm just like, looked up, and I'm like, that's Bobby Lashley.
Oh shit.
And he just walked past, and he had his earphones in. I'm like, I'm not going to get up and annoy him. Looks like he's just gone for a stroll around Melbourne. He's probably just got off a flight. I'm not going to be that piece of shit. But I was just looked up, and I looked at my sister, and I went, that's Bobby Lashley. And she just looked at me, and she went, cool. I don't care. It's Bobby Lashley.
She's like, She's like, whoever the fuck that is.
Oh, she loves wrestling as much as I do.
Oh, okay.
Shaylee's like a big wrestling mark, but she didn't care about Bobby Lashley. But I just remember looking up, and I had chicken in hand, and I was like, that's Bobby Lashley. And then I just continued eating my food.
I like that we're the same person. We're all the same person.
Because we were like quietly debating it at the table. Like, do we go say hi? Do we go say hi? We could post a photo. We could post a photo to the Instagram. Like, we were considering like it's a piece of content. We should go get it. But I'm not the type. Like, I met the Briscoes at the airport, the Briscoe Brothers. And I noticed them, and I was not going to say hi at all.
No.
And I pointed out to my wife, that's the Briscoe Brothers from ROH. They're fucking crazy. These guys are awesome. And she's like, go say hi. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I like. And she was like, oh, God damn it. So she just walked up to them and introduced me to them. And then I shook both their hands. They said hi. I said hi. We got onto the same shuttle. And then I think I saw them one other time as we were getting to our car, and they like, thanks, man, or whatever they said. And like, they reached out as I was walking away. I was like, awesome, cool. But I was not going to be like, let's take a photo. It's 5:30 in the fucking morning.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
I just couldn't imagine. Oh, I don't know. I just feel weird about it. I've never really had too many here's a weird story. I had an interaction with Boy George once.
Oh shit!
What? He's in Australia a lot because he works for The Voice in Australia, so he's here a lot. And I was just in Adelaide, like minding my own business as you normally do. And it was where there's like a pretty big mall in Adelaide. It's called Rundle Mall. It's like the landmark of Adelaide, I guess. Like people know that around Australia. It's like that's what's in Adelaide. And he was there, and I was like, oh, there's Boy George, and he was like, talking to fans and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, I'll go and get a picture because I can put it on Facebook and I get everyone to like it. That's basically why I did it, not because I like Boy George. I was just like, cool, I'm just going to go over here. And he said, hi, how are you? Shook his hand. And I said, oh, can I get a picture? He said, yeah, that'd be $45. And I was like, see ya. That's my only interaction I've ever really had with like a celebrity. But it was $45. And I was like, I'm not paying $45 for a picture in the random street.
Yeah, that's not worth it.
This isn't a meet and greet.
Like,
man.
and you're like, I don't have cash. He's like, I have Square.
Yeah, he'd be like, Cash App, PayPal, what are you? He's got it all ready.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, have a good day. And I walked off.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He might use that as like a defensive thing, though. Like if he doesn't want to take a picture. Because then otherwise, then it's like, okay, well, I just made $45, so like, whatever.
It's probably the bullshit meter, right?
Yeah.
People approach him because they recognize him, or people approach him because people see other people approach him.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was me. I looked over and I was like, who's that over there? I'm like, and then you can't really miss Boy George. Like he's kind of dresses like Boy George. Like he was full hat, like he was the full get up, and I was like, oh, that's Boy George.
Yeah. But he probably uses the $45 as a. I mean, he might take it from people, but he also might be like, if somebody's like, okay, yeah, absolutely, I just want a photo with you, he probably is like, you don't have to pay me. I just wanted to see if you actually gave a shit or something.
I was just like, okay, see ya. I'm not really a fan anyway. I was like, bye. I just walked off. I don't know if I was with people that day or on my own, but it was like a year or so ago, and I was just like, honestly, I like that interaction better if I just got a photo because it's a cool story to tell. And it's the only celebrity interaction I've ever had. So I'm like, that's fine by me. Boy George of all people. Boy George.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But yeah, but I don't know. I don't understand, there's lots of stories, especially within wrestling. I'm sure there is without, outside the world of wrestling, but I don't know what any of that means. I'm just a wrestling person. So, of fans being a little bit too pushy. And I just couldn't imagine being that person that's like waiting for them at an airport or waiting for them at their hotel room. Like, I think Sasha Banks has come out and been pretty vocal about that. Like, don't wait for me at my hotel room because I'm not putting that out to the public, so it's stalking. And some people got on her for that, and I was like, I completely agree. It's stalking.
She's not wrong at all.
No. She did get a little bit of like heat for that, didn't she? From memory.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to do anything on Twitter to find 15 people that'll just tweet that they disagree with you.
True.
So
true.
Yeah. That's like we'll like text each other randomly, and we'll be like, "So what's the Twitter outrage du jour today?" Like,
Twitter is great. Like, I obviously without Twitter, I
Oh,
wouldn't have
yeah.
conversations like this and meet people from all around the world and make friends with all these people. But Twitter is also a bit of a hole, and if you don't like, I'm pretty thick-skinned. So if I've obviously we've all probably had people that have said something random to us and we're like, what the. I don't understand what's going on here. But for the people that are kind of vulnerable and really can't take that, Twitter can be pretty dark for some people.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, I'm two minds about it, because at the same time, like, I have a hard time feeling bad for people who post things for reactions and then get
Yes.
upset about reactions.
Yes, that's true.
Because I just like I have zero sympathy when you're like, I'm just gonna post hot takes all day long and then cry about people abusing me on the internet. You're kind of, you're
I
allowed to say
understand
whatever the fuck you want,
That's
but also people are allowed to say whatever the fuck they want back. So
That's very true.
Yeah.
If you're going out of your way to post something that people are going to disagree with, or people are going to attack you over, then you're kind of asking for it. In my opinion.
Yeah.
You just want to like fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who
wants to fight? I couldn't I go on Twitter or whatever social media, just to kind of be an idiot and kind of just I tweet. You've seen my tweets; they're bullshit. Like I just tweet just whatever comes to my brain. But that's what I use Twitter for, and like I've had people like tweet when I tweet that random bullshit. Most people are like, "What is this account? I like it, but what is this?" I'm like, I genuinely don't know. Like I just tweet random shit just as it comes to my brain. But then there's some people that just have to be that person that's just kind of like, this is bullshit. Why are you tweeting this? I'm like, for that exact reason, it's bullshit. Like it's just Twitter is just an outlet to get random thoughts out of my brain that I don't really want to put on Facebook, because Facebook is where I have like in real life people that I know, and you're kind of like more sophisticated on Facebook, and I don't know, Facebook is a weird place, but Twitter's just like whatever. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Social media is like we're so driven by social media now. It's kind of like what is life now? Like we're just kind of I said this last week on one of my shows. I don't know which one. I have that many. I was kind of like, we seek validation now, and it's like I think everybody does it in some weird way, shape, or form. Everyone kind of seeks validation. Like we're posting podcasts, and why we're doing it for us to have fun. We're also seeking that little bit of validation that someone's listening and someone's watching and someone's like commenting on what you're kind of saying, and it makes you feel nice. Like it's I'm not gonna lie. But why is it that we seek so much validation from really random strangers?
Jordan, that one's you.
I think I don't know, because I'm like you said, like Josh saying how like, oh well, you put these things out into the world to get a reaction, and whether or not, I just think that's like making art, and like I went to school for film, so I'm a video editor. I made movies, like I make videos and shit, and so like me putting stuff out into the world, good or bad reaction, as long as I get a reaction, it kind of makes it worth it. It's like all of this work, that's like what I was even saying to Robert, if one person watches this 2008 universe thing that we're doing, all of this work will be worth it for me.
Boom, right here. You got me.
Speaking of people that are like of like a higher caliber or higher whatever in society, of the WWE Games Society, Dre41 Cause watched our draft.
I seen that comment, and I was like, I clicked on him, and I was like, I've seen that name before, and I'm like, oh, he's got I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, look at you guys.
Yeah, he's like one of the only guys I'll download created superstars from. Him and What's the Status. So like if that dude watches it, I'll lose my mind. That's crazy to me.
I seen that comment because I was like, I think I got like a email or something that said like you guys had liked my comment, and I clicked on it just to see, and then I was like, I've seen that name before. I'm like, isn't he like some kind of like a creator or some shit? And then I clicked on him, and I was like, oh shit! I'm like, look at you guys.
Like definitely not like a famous dude by any stretch, but like within that specific community,
people know who he is.
He's a pretty big name.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
just cool. I like seeing like the reach that it could get, because obviously like stuff like this is super cool, like because you're someone that we wouldn't have met without social media and without the podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
him,
like go on.
Josh and Luke
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
talk to frequently.
Oh,
He
Isn't
was like,
Luke's just crushing it, by the way.
dude, he was one of the very first accounts, and it was like a year into us having the Twitter and the podcast and all of that
Yeah.
Luke came into, somehow found Josh and Stu's prediction league, which is how we met.
Everybody.
Like
Yeah.
their prediction league put us in with so many people,
Yeah.
and then it just took off.
Yeah,
like
that's
follower wise and interaction wise.
It's pretty
Yeah.
crazy how that kind of stuff happens. Like mine was a little bit different. I got into the prediction league like after people, I guess, started to like kind of know my name around like the wrestling Twitter world, however you want to, whatever you want to call it. I think mine was. I've said this story before, but I don't know if you guys know this, but obviously when Wilf was around and Wilf was getting ready to do Brainbuster Radio, I was on one of his roundtables. And I was just kind of making content for myself. I didn't even have Kevin at this point. It was just me. And I was just kind of, no one was really listening. And I was like, kind of like getting to know like Foul. And I was getting to know Mags. And I was like, just, on the very groundwork. And then I was on that show. And that's when a lot of more people were like, oh, this is kind of cool. And I think it was because, honestly, the reason why it kind of took off for me, in a sense, I don't like to ever it sounds like I'm bragging. I'm not trying to brag.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
It kind of did that is because, honestly, I think it was because there wasn't a lot of Australian wrestling podcasts, and it was different. And I was like, I'm going to stick in this lane, and I'm going to try to do what I can to kind of, I don't know, try and get somewhat of a following. And then that Brainbuster started, and then I just kind of, I think I just got a little bit more confident, and now I'm just making content that I'm just like, I like it. It makes me laugh. It makes me pop. So I'm fine. That's how I kind of make content now. And you can hear in the way that I talk in like even a year ago to now, I'm just much more free and confident with the way I talk. And I think stuff like this, doing this with like, I remember the first ever time I had a guest, I was nervous as all hell. I'm like, I have to talk to a person I don't know. Like this is, I was the type of person that wouldn't even call to order a pizza. I was like, no, thank you. I get someone else to do that. I ain't talking to a stranger on the phone. No thanks. But now I'm just like, whatever.
I'm that person.
Oh, I'm still that person to a certain degree when it comes to like ordering stuff. Making doctor's appointments. I'm not doing that. I'd rather get sick. Not happening.
The best words that I could ever hear are, "We have an online portal."
Oh my god! Can you just email
like,
it to
yes.
me? Please, just. I don't need. If someone calls me, I look at it and I'm like, I'm not answering that. It could say mum, and I'm like, I'm not answering that. Text me. I'm not answering the phone. Who answers the phone anymore?
Yeah,
Get out of here.
A few years ago, Jordan had a situation, and he called me, and I didn't answer until the third phone call.
Because then you know it's like something's up.
Right. The first one, I was like, he might have slipped, hit a button, And then the second one, I'm like, what the? He didn't even text me to say he was gonna call me. What the fuck is going
on? Oh, yeah.
And the third one, I was like, are you okay?
It's like the weirdest thing, though, like calling someone. But yeah, online portal, email. Otherwise, I really don't have too much of an interest in getting to know that person, to be completely honest. But yeah, it's like podcasting has opened up so many, like you guys were saying, you didn't really have, and then Luke, and then all of everything else that kind of started after that. And it's weird to think, like, you look around, and sometimes I kind of not take it for granted, just kind of don't recognize that. I'm like, there's people all over the world that know my name. Like, my shoot name is obviously Josh Robinson. Like, that's my name. Yeah. And it's like, people know who I am, and that's kind of weird. Not saying I have this huge, big following. I'm just saying, like, there's people in America and in the UK that talk to me on a regular basis, and it's like, that's fucking wild.
Yeah, like I was saying, my wife was literally saying before I came down here to record. She was like, what are you and Jordan recording tonight? And I was like, oh, we're talking to this guy that we met through wrestling Twitter from Australia. And she was like, you got that guy in the UK that just had the baby, and then you got this guy. She's like, you got friends all over the fucking world from this shit. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
And that's the way, like, even when him and I are referring to people from wrestling Twitter, like, we refer to everyone as, like, our friends. Like, oh, yeah, that's our friend Josh. Or, oh, yeah, that's our friend Luke. And Like
Yeah,
all this stuff. Like
baby photos. Like
yeah,
yeah. So am I. I have him on Facebook, and I'm just like liking
Yeah,
all Luke's baby
same.
photos. I'm like, look at you,
yeah.
big shot
It's just-
Luke over there with his big Football Manager game, and I'm like, he's a big shot. I knew him when he was just a wrestling podcast.
Right.
Yeah. He's big leaguing us now.
That always blew my mind early on when we started doing this was like when people would announce the level of guests that they had. Like there were definitely some times where I would be like, so those people are just available, huh? Like I didn't think that was a possible thing. Like I felt like there would always be, they'd be like, well, how many listeners do you get before we even decide to talk to you? Like that kind of thing. For whatever reason, I just feel like they don't want to speak to Podunk like 30 listens an episode wrestling podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'd see certain people, I'm like, wow, how do you fucking pull them down? And I
I was
guess
the
it's
same.
just asking, but like we've established, we don't ask. So
Same
Well,
here. I'm not an
this is
interview
the first
show.
time. This is the first time that we've ever like done a crossover like this with anyone, and we've been doing this for like almost 4 years now.
That's crazy. I like I said at the start of the show, I think it was or it may have been in our pre-chat. I'm pretty sure I said it at the start of the show. Like this interaction this is literally, by the way, everybody listening, the first time we've ever had a chat. And it just kind of, we've obviously chat through Twitter and whatever like that. We've been chatting for a while, and it's just never lined up to get on a podcast together or do something together. And this is literally the first time ever. And it's like we've been chatting for what, like an hour or something, nearly an hour and a half, and we're like, we could feel like we could just keep on chatting because it's just natural. I knew that I'd get along with you guys. We have similar interests. Me and Jordan are basically the same freaking person, I've learned. So.
I feel like, and I feel like we haven't even scratched the surface.
Nope.
I feel like there's way more that we'll slowly realize that we're like, oh, cool, I'm into that too.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Like, even when you were just saying that sentence of like, yeah, I'm the same. I refer to these people as my friends because I don't think there's really a difference between like in real life friends and friends.
Yeah.
We're doing this. I probably interact more with people online than I do especially right now. I'm interacting with people more online. This is kind of the social element of today for me, is talking to you guys, because I was like, I have my cat sitting right next to me. And I mean, I can only get so much out of my cat before she's just like, fuck off. I've had enough of you. She's so sick of me. But it is weird to think that, you know, you guys are in the States. I'm on literally the other side of the world, and it's 11 a.m. right now, and you guys are like, I'm going to bed in like an hour. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, what the
9:30.
It's like, what the hell? Like, it's
I'm gonna go downstairs. I'm gonna go downstairs. We're gonna put on some sort of movie, and I'll fall asleep on the couch.
Yep.
What
100%.
a dream! What a dream! I mean, to wrap this up though, before we say goodbye, we do have a lot more time. Well, we're still working, Robert, but we still do have a lot more time at home in the sense of not talking to other human beings too much. You mentioned putting something on Netflix. I'm sure you have Netflix and Disney Plus and all of those other ones. What is on your rotation at the moment? Because I need new shows to watch because I've watched everything. Ooh. So what's in your rotation, whether it be Disney Plus, whether it be Netflix, WWE Network, whatever the hell you're watching?
Oh, man. Jordan is like the TV guy. So he's watched everything, and he could recommend it all. I just finished watching Community, which was fantastic.
Everyone tells me to watch that. I've never watched it.
Oh, dude,
it's so good.
I loved it. I wasn't sure because I'm not a 30-minute sitcom person. Like, I'm not a fan necessarily of that. There are some of them that I love, but once I was able to just get past, the show's fantastic. And I think we're just kind of going through Westworld on HBO as it happens.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna go and watch The Outsider, which was also an HBO show.
Yeah, Cheyenne and I just finished season 5 of Dexter.
Well, I watched Dexter. Dexter's good.
I've watched it through. I used to watch it when it was airing.
Yeah.
This is her first time watching it, so it's starting that downfall arc.
Yep.
And it's very apparent. Season 5 was not as bad as I remember it being, though.
Yeah, Dexter was like
because before
here,
I
and
was
then it just
telling
went boop, 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 boop.
before I was telling people like stop after season 4, but now I think stop after season 5. But I'm gonna continue eventually. Like Robert said, we're watching Westworld. Also doing randomly, we started watching Raw, SmackDown, and the pay-per-views from 2005.
2005. All right.
Yeah, Cheyenne and I were putting on. I was just like, pick a year and a month, and we'll put on a pay-per-view from that year to watch to fall asleep to. And then we got like invested in 2005, and I was just like, all right, let's go. So
Fair enough. I do that too. Sometimes I just
That's a
randomly
new
watch
thing.
random stuff, and I'm like, okay, I'm going on the, and I have to watch it in order. I'm not a psychopath, so I'm watching it in order.
But there's like a whole bunch of other shows that I could recommend. So like, what are your tastes like?
My
as
favorite
far as
show ever
TV?
is Parks and Rec. Is like
Okay.
and The Office obviously is great too. But Parks and Rec is coming back, by the way, everybody. Oh, for one
Saw
night.
that.
And I was like, it was like the greatest day of my life. But yeah, I'm very much that kind of witty humor. That's like
Okay.
kind of when you can watch it once, and then once you watch it once, you can kind of put it on in the background, and it's just kind of familiar.
Yeah.
That's what I like in shows.
So have you ever watched Arrested Development?
No, I've never watched Arrested Development. I've seen like bits and pieces of it, like in like little clips here and there, and I've like giggled. But you know when you're like when I first watched Parks and Rec, when I first watched The Office, I was like, this isn't. I don't know if I like this, and then you kind of keep watching it. So Arrested Development maybe would be on that same.
Give it a watch. And just like let me know whatever you think. Whenever you finish that first episode, that's a show that I could watch over and over and over again, and like go back and pick up new things that you didn't notice the first 6 times around. But that's such like the writing on that show, and the acting is so good.
I think
definitely give that a watch.
30 Rock is similar in that vein as well.
I've watched some of 30 Rock. It wasn't really necessarily my. I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it, but I feel like I watched it at a time when I was just kind of like in and out of it instead of like sitting down and actually trying to like watch it. Because for the first time, I mean, I love shows also like, have you guys ever watched Veep?
Yes.
I watched like some of the first season, then I never went back.
Love Veep.
So there's one company that I used to work for. We used to work with HBO on their shows. So I was watching like season 5. And that was the first time I'd ever seen the show.
Yeah.
So I like watched through all of season 5, and I keep meaning to go back and keep watching, but it just hasn't lined up.
It's so good. There's so much swearing in it, and I'm a swearer. Well, I'm from Australia, so I say the C word every other word. Like they say that word in it, and I'm just like, oh, this is my vein. And I love Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I think she's fantastic. I'm not a Seinfeld guy though. Don't come at me. I'm not a Seinfeld guy. It was a little bit before my time, and I just never really got into it. I watched Friends religiously. I love Friends.
See, I never got into Friends.
Oh, see,
he's just so happy being wrong, right, Josh? Like,
Friends is.
I'm just saying, like, I'm just not really interested.
Okay,
in
well,
it.
this is a question. This is a question for Robert. Who's your favorite friend?
Oh man. Okay, I've had this discussion with people. I give a very unpopular answer, but I have a reason. Ross is my favorite friend.
Oh no! End call. Where's the end call button? Not Ross. I mean, you could say anyone.
All of the drama on Friends comes from Ross. The show would be garbage without him.
The only time I ever liked Ross is when he got a tan. You know when he got a tan and it was like, it was so bad, and he counted to miss one Mississippi.
Like when he couldn't pull his leather pants back up and he created a paste.
Oh my god, yeah. Or when he made margaritas, that was also great. He was fine. My favorite friend is Phoebe. Phoebe's my favorite. I'm a Phoebe person, but I like Monica and Chandler when they're together. Like the couple of Monica and Chandler is hilarious. But they're not as I like Chandler obviously, but Monica isn't as strong without Chandler, but she's great when she's with Chandler. But Phoebe has always been my favorite friend. I think because of Smelly Cat, and it was the one and only song I could ever play on guitar.
See, I was a How I Met Your Mother guy.
So
I watched that versus Friends, and I never finished it. I never watched all the way through because it pissed me off, and then I just never picked back up with it.
I liked
and
How I Met Your
probably
Mother,
never
and then I
will.
was like,
Yes,
what the fuck was that ending?
they killed that show that last season.
Mm-hmm. But it was a
So,
good. It was a good ride.
fantastic.
Horrible destination. Just like
Yeah. But I heard
No,
a lot
thank
of
you.
people comparing that as like the new Friends.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because
Especially when it was on the air.
Is Friends like considered? I don't know. I always get lost in this argument. But is Friends like considered the greatest sitcom of all time, or is that Seinfeld? I don't really know. Like the perception. I'm not talking like our own individual opinions. Is the perception that it's the best?
I mean, they certainly both made NBC a fuckload of money.
I mean,
Yeah.
Friends is always getting. That's probably the number one. Like, they got to come back and do like a reunion movie or a reunion. I know they're doing some kind of like an unscripted thing now, but
Friends, I think is in way more syndication in way more places.
Yeah.
Like, I know you could catch episodes of Seinfeld on cable.
Yeah.
Like ran back, but like there's legitimately stations that Friends
Play
is
Friends.
almost on 24/7.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Friends, they have. I think one of the like free to air stations here in Australia plays Friends like every weeknight at 7:30. That's like prime time television, and it still does like good numbers for something that I've seen. I've seen every episode of Friends probably like 400 times at this point. I'm like, I've seen this show so many damn times, but it's still
Like,
something that makes me laugh. I guess that's a good thing.
Like TBS will air hours of Friends in a row every day.
They'll just do like a
roll the
4-hour block of Friends.
Yeah.
So Jordan, what is it
And,
about
like-
Friends that's just kind of like not your thing?
I just think it's beyond like at this point, like I'm so far removed from the fandom.
It hasn't
and
aged great. I
everything.
will say that it hasn't aged. Some themes in that show are not very. Like, they don't really hold up to now. And you're like, ooh.
That's what I've
I don't know.
heard.
Yeah, it doesn't hold up great.
It's not something that I'm straight up against watching.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's never.
I wish you'd
called
watch it
to
because
me.
you get a lot more of because there's so many reactions in Friends that I think of, and like there'll be anything that is like revealed, and I'm like, I knew it. Like,
Oh my God. I have one of my really, really close mates is like that, and he has never watched a single episode of Friends in his life. And I'm like, the amount of times that I think of a Friends joke, and I'm like looking around, and I'm like, okay, where's the nearest other person that's breathing, so I can see if I can make this Friends joke. Because if I say it to him, he just looks at me like, "The fuck are you saying? Like, are you on crack?
Yep,
Like, I
exactly.
don't understand what you're saying." So, yeah, Friends is something I just grew up with. I think my mum used to watch it, so therefore I just sat with my mum and I just watched Friends. So it was just always a show that made
my
me
mom
laugh.
cried to it.
Oh yeah, that last episode of Friends is.
We watched the finale of that together. Like, it was a whole thing. It was her favorite show. And you said you don't like Seinfeld, because I was gonna say I really enjoyed Curb Your Enthusiasm, but it's very much the same humor.
I never watched it either. Yeah.
So,
for that,
but I went through
reason,
I watched all of Curb through like the most recent season. I fucking love that show.
Yeah, I've seen.
Oh my God.
Like, again, I've obviously seen bits of Seinfeld. Like, I've seen like I don't know her name, but Julia Louis-Dreyfus's dance. Like, that's obviously like iconic. That's a word I use a lot.
That's you get a couple drinks in Jordan, he starts doing that.
Oh hell yeah,
for sure.
Oh,
it's all elbows and like shoulders.
But yeah, I've seen obviously I know like the social impact that show had, but it was just never my thing. But Friends...
I hated Seinfeld when I was younger. I hated it because I didn't get it. But the older I've gotten, the more I've fell into, I understand exactly what this is about.
Yeah.
I've been in that situation, like all of that. It's so fun. And that's very much what Curb does. Curb this season did a bit. There was a part of an episode where they were discussing how people in red Make America Great hats makes people uncomfortable. And you don't want to even be around those people. And Larry's very much the type of person that doesn't want people around him. So he sarcastically bought one and wore it in social situations so people would leave him alone.
Wow, what an idea. Oh, man.
Yeah. Awesome.
I hate people too,
He was at like a sushi bar, and there were 2 seats next to him. I mean, there was a bunch of seats, but this couple was going to sit right next to him, and he just pulled his hat out and put it on, and they fucking left the restaurant, and he was just like,
That's great.
So Josh, have you ever watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Okay, so I watched like the first maybe like 3 or 4 seasons of that show, but there's like 25 of these things at this point. There's so many seasons of that show, and I just kind of not lost interest. I just like there's so much to watch of this show. Like I've got to commit to this. But the 3 or 4 seasons, I think 3 to be completely fair, I enjoyed. I was always like, I'll get back around to this one day. I just never have.
That's a show 100% Jordan and I agree on without question. We fucking love that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was funny. Like, it definitely wasn't bad at all. It's just, more me.
And it's gotten, I feel like it's almost gotten funnier. Like,
Also,
I love shows that do that.
They found a groove and they know exactly what the humor they're going for is now. And it's just, it's fantastic.
And they try new things with their episodes and their characters, and they're not afraid to just like give it a shot and see what happens.
That's what I love about Parks and Rec. Is Parks and Rec?
Yeah.
That's why I fell in love with that show as much as I did. And another thing of Parks and Rec is that I don't have a character that I just don't have an opinion on. Everyone I have an opinion on, whether it's I like them or I dislike them. It's good when you just have a reaction from everybody. And it's just, I don't know, it was just that kind of humor just made me like, I'm really into this. It's like kind of like subtle sometimes, and it's like, this isn't ha-ha funny. This is like I'm laughing at this and I'm thinking about what they're actually saying, and I just really love all of that about that show. That's the same reason I love The Office. I didn't watch The Office until later. I only watched The Office at the start of this year because I was so against it because my brother was like, watch The Office, watch The Office. He loved Parks and Rec. I'm like, no, Parks and Rec is my jam. I'm not watching The Office. And then I watched it and I was like, well, this show's freaking great.
Yep. I did the same thing. I waited on The Office. I think last year I watched through it. And now I just watch all of the reruns that are on TV all the time. It's always on because if we can't think of anything, The Office is on. And that's what we wind up watching.
That's my girlfriend's favorite show is The Office.
The finale of The Office, dudes. Oh, that got me hard. Because I was so I watched that. I binged that show for like 2.5 weeks. It took me to watch.
I remember,
9 seasons or something like that. The first season, because Dylan, like my brother Dylan, was like, I'm like, this isn't great because the first season is not good. Like, I'm like, this isn't a very good show. I'm not feeling this at all. I'm like, what's the rave about here? I don't understand this show. And then Dylan was like, just keep watching. And then by the middle of season 2, I'm like, oh, this show's hilarious. So by the time I got to the finale, because the last couple of seasons kind of do fall out a little bit without spoiler alert, everybody, spoiler alert for The Office if you haven't watched The Office. When Michael's gone and everything like that, it's different, obviously. But the finale,
I'll watch Office reruns all day, but if it hits season 7 and 8, I change the channel.
I don't. The last season was better than what is there? 9 seasons? Yes. So the season
there's 8.
There's 8. So yeah, he left in season 6, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or like early 7 or something
like that. Anyway, the last season is better than the last season is better than the one where he's first gone.
The previous one,
yeah. Because I do like other characters in the show. It's not that I just watched that show for Michael, but they were all they all played each other very well.
Yep.
So it kind of relied on everyone being there, and when certain people left, in the last season when Kelly's not there, it's like she wasn't my favorite.
But she had there was something there.
But the finale,
she added to the show.
Yeah,
finale is sad.
And without Michael there's a vacuum. And they tried to fill it with a bunch of different people, and
it didn't work.
It didn't work
because you had Andy step into that role, and Andy was fine, but it's you're trying to fill the void of Michael, and it's just I see what you're doing, and it's not working.
Yeah.
But it was still
and
fine.
I like Ed Helms enough, the actor that plays Andy, but he always has to bring his fucking banjo.
Although I will say, when he played Sarah McLachlan, I was like, bitch, why is this so... He was playing, and I'm like, oh, here we go, Andy's just singing again. And he started singing, I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. And then everyone was and I was like, why am I getting so emotional for this? I was like, oh no, Sarah McLachlan does it. It does it in Toy Story 2 when Jessie gets left there. I cry at that shit every time because you don't leave a toy
All right, Josh. Very important question.
Oh.
What is your favorite Disney Pixar film?
Okay, this isn't just my favorite Pixar film. This is my favorite film ever. It is Toy Story 2, the greatest film in cinema history. It is the best. It's better than the first one. It's better than the third one. It's better than that trash that was 4. I will say it out loud. Toy Story
Don't
4,
spoil it. I didn't watch it yet.
Oh.
It's unnecessary.
I
That's
plan
all I'll say on
to.
that.
My niece, my 3-year-old niece, loved it.
Of course.
Well, yeah.
So she loves her favorite character is
I did watch Toy
Forky.
Story 4. I did not like it.
We had a deep conversation about it the one day.
Yeah.
About the meaning of it.
Toy Story 2 though is my favorite of Toy Stories. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
my
Pixar,
favorite.
I mean, Bugs Life is always up there. That's an underrated Pixar movie that does not get enough appreciation.
People forget about it.
Bugs Life is fantastic, but I mean, number 2 is always going to be Monsters Inc. Monsters Inc. is fantastic.
That's my number 1. So.
And Nemo's in there somewhere, but they're like my 4. I would say is like the Toy Story franchise that isn't 4 because it's garbage. But the first 3 Toy Stories are fine, and then Nemo, Monsters Inc. They're all in there. I'm not an Incredibles guy. Don't hit me in the face.
Really?
I never liked the Incredibles, and I refuse to watch the second one.
I didn't see the second one yet.
God. I did not like the second one at all, dude. Oh my god.
This is always one that gets very divided. I want your full opinions from this. What is your opinion on Cars?
Nope. Don't have an opinion because I don't care. Nope.
Ooh,
nope.
Okay, I've hit a chord here, haven't I? I've struck a little bit of there's something deep in there.
Wow.
On our other pod, so on Pop Cannon, for Christmas, we did a Christmas list where we did everybody on the show. So there's normally 4 guys on the show. It's us and our 2 other friends. Everybody put together top 5 lists of different things. And one of the lists that we set out to do was a Disney Pixar list. And we discussed after everybody went through their top 5s how Cars didn't make anybody's top 5.
Because it's garbage.
We are collectively anti-Cars.
It's always something that gets so many people. I say Cars and people are like, Owen Wilson. And then they're just like, and I'm like, oh,
wow.
Wow. But I didn't like Cars. I definitely didn't like the freaking second one. And there was a third one, wasn't there, that I never watched.
What about Planes?
I think they also spun it off into Planes.
Oh, I've never watched Planes. I haven't watched some of the, unless they're sequels, I haven't watched a lot of, the later Pixar movies. I think the latest one I watched was maybe that Inside Out one. And I didn't.
That was good.
I didn't care for that. It wasn't my jam. I didn't think it was bad. It just wasn't.
It cut real deep on me, and I was definitely not expecting it to.
The only Pixar movie that's truly, other than Toy Story 2, that's made me physically sob is Up. Up made me sob.
Up gets me. The first 13 minutes of Up always gets me.
Yeah. We went to the theater to see that, and we just looked at each other halfway through that clip, and we were like, "What is happening?"
I was sobbing. I was like, "This is so sad. He's so in love with his wife, and she's deteriorating. I hate this."
Yeah.
And then it kind of.
But even the newer movies are really good. Like Coco was really good, and.
What's Coco about? I have seen the poster. I can think of the poster.
Coco is about a kid in Mexico who has to go through the land of the dead to fix his family. Is that the most general way to put that?
Yeah, without spoiling.
It's it's so visually fucking gorgeous, that movie.
That's only not that old, is it?
Yeah, it was 2017, I think.
Okay, so it's on Disney Plus. I can watch that on Disney Plus. Okay.
And then they also have Onward.
Oh, I've never even heard of that. See, I'm so out of the.
Onward's the new one. It's the most recent one that came out.
It came out in March,
don't they? They do one Pixar movie a year. This stage, do they do 1 or 2?
I think
just 1.
Yeah. Well, no, I think they do 2. They always try to do one for the Thanksgiving, Christmas time, and then they always do another one. Because they did Frozen 2.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, well, Pixar is something that I just always... You're always going to get quality films. They always put a lot of effort into it. 2 more questions before we wrap this up. first one is on the Pixar subject of sequels. Finding Dory. I seen that in the theaters. I seen that in
Me
the
too.
cinema, and I was like,
Same.
I'm excited for this because I love Nemo because Sydney, Australia, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Nemo is just really like structurally put together really nicely. It flows beautifully, and it's a beautiful story. I've always loved Nemo. But Dory took everything about Nemo that I liked, put it into a paper shredder, shredded it again, and then made it stupid.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how you could fuck something up so badly.
I don't think it was that bad.
Here's the question. I saw it in the movie theater. Never watched it again. Never had the itch to watch it again. And if I had the choice between that and watching another competitive cooking television program, I would watch the competitive cooking television program.
MasterChef.
Yeah, exactly. I would watch that, and maybe even a rerun of that, where there's nothing on the line and I know the outcome.
Nemo was just so fantastic.
Yeah,
and it was just so.
Dory
Dory had no
for as long as they took, between those movies, you would have thought that it would have meant more.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody even talk about it.
It was okay, but I think it was largely forgettable.
Yes.
And I think that was the problem.
Remember really what happens other than the old guy from Modern Family does the voice of a septipod.
Yeah, and she was just literally, it was like an hour and a half of her just swimming. I know that's her thing. I know that's Dory's thing is to just keep swimming, but that's all she did. I'm like, what is the context of this? No substance. It was like a sandwich where it's just bread. I'm like, this is boring. Where's some butter at least? There was nothing on it. But Nemo was just, I think it was just because Nemo was so wonderful. And I think it was just a movie on its own that wasn't Nemo. It didn't have anything to do with Nemo. It would have been a fine fish movie. But
a fine fish movie.
A fine fish movie.
It could go next to all of the great fish movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shark Tale.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen Shark Tale? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Bitch. They had a great song from that movie with
that
Christina
was like after
Aguilera
my
and
time.
Missy Elliott.
Dude, Shark Tale is actually one of DreamWorks' best.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Shrek 2, Shark Tale.
Shrek. I'm not a big Shrek guy, and that gets very heated with people. Because I'm
sarcastically a Shrek guy. Like, it's not great, but like the memes are hilarious.
The memes. Yeah.
I don't know. Everyone makes out so that movie is like the fucking greatest thing ever, and I'm like, it's fine. The only thing I like from Shrek is the Shrek Far, Far Away Idol thing they did.
Yeah.
It was the best thing ever. It was on the DVD, and I was like, I'll watch this over and over again. You get to pick, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to pick this person, and show all the different answers, and I just thought it was cool because you could interact on your DVD player. That was when I had a built-in DVD player to my television in my bedroom, and I thought
I had one of those.
I thought it was the best thing ever. It was a Toy Story one, too. Had Woody on the side. Because I was I was a Woody guy more than Buzz, because Buzz is silly. Buzz is too stupid. But as I've gotten older, can relate. But the very last question I have for you guys, because I know, again, it's opinion drived. You guys are into Star Wars as much as I am. I love Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars just person. And
Jordan's not a Star Wars guy at all.
You are, though, aren't you, Robert? Oh, you got a Star Wars shirt on. Okay, so again, let's get Jordan out of here. No friends, no Star Wars.
I just happened to be wearing that today.
Oh, that's good. Okay, you've obviously seen The Rise of Skywalker.
Nope.
What the fuck? It's been like, it was out in December. It's now April. What are you doing? You're wearing a Star Wars shirt.
Josh, you've made a huge mistake.
Last Jedi put me out on Star Wars.
Oh, no.
Almost altogether.
Okay, so
the sequels make it hard for me to watch the original trilogy.
Oh, boy.
Knowing what happens to those characters makes it very hard for me to sit through the original trilogy.
All right, so this may change your opinion on me, but I actually like The Last Jedi.
That's fair. I've talked to plenty of people that both like it and dislike it, and I can respect somebody that does like it. I just won't ever. I
didn't
watched
think it was the
one
best thing
time.
ever. Like, I'm not.
I
saying-
watched it one time, and I remember everything that happens because I hated it all so much.
My brother's the same. He absolutely hates that movie, and he still hasn't seen The Rise of Skywalker in spite of it. He
Yep.
will watch it. He said he's going to get there, but he hates The Last Jedi. My favorite Star Wars ever is The Phantom Menace. I've gone on record to say that, and everyone gets on me. I think it's a fantastic movie.
That is a good movie.
Everyone hates it. Everyone can't stand The Phantom Menace, and I'm like, that is the best Star Wars. Don't come at me.
They were gonna release all of them in 3D when 3D was a really big thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I remember that.
I watched.
They were, like,
I
doing
watched
this-
the Hannah Montana movie in 3D.
I went to the theater and I watched Phantom Menace in 3D because I was gonna go watch all the Star Wars movies in 3D, and I don't know if they did it ever
I
again.
don't think they did.
Um,
I didn't even know they
but-
did for that.
Yeah, I went and saw Phantom Menace in 3D years after it came out. Well, I think it was like 2000. It had to be around Avatar because Avatar made everything 3D for
This
like
was like
4 or 5
2009, 2010.
Yeah,
I feel
2009,
like.
2010. But I went and saw Phantom Menace again, and I was like, dude, not only was that like a pretty good Star Wars movie, like everybody always says that Jar Jar Binks ruined it, and he has less than like 10 minutes of screen time.
He's really
So
not
get the
there
fuck
that
over
ma- and he's not like he's annoying, sure, but I don't think he's the
Yeah.
worst piece of shit I've ever seen. There's worse.
He's not any
Go
more
and put on a
annoying
Cars
than any
movie
other
and
Star
you
Wars
hate
character
everybody
that's
in
been made
that.
to do that.
Go and put on Cars and you hate everybody. You know, at least you can just hate one character in the Phantom. Qui-Gon Jinn is my favorite Star Wars character ever. I think Qui-Gon's
so
the
much
best.
to him.
And
There's
Darth
so much to
Maul
him.
is a fantastic villain. I just think it's a
Yep.
great movie, and I always happily say that. The only one that I like more than that is The Rise of Skywalker, so I'll put that out there. I'll
Wow.
put that out
Okay.
there. But yeah, that's where we'll kind of end it because we've been talking for a long time, and I'm sure you've got plenty to do. But this has been wonderful. It's been, again, a chat that I've been waiting for so long. And I'm sure we'll have many more now that we've done it once. So we're just kind of like, let's just bullshit for a couple of hours because I've got nothing
Yes,
else
please.
to do. I think we could talk about so many other things, and I'm glad I found fellow Cars haters because the movie stinks. I'm gonna call this something
so
like
you've
that.
asked that question before, and people are like, "Love cars."
Okay, so if I talk to people like at work or like my friends around, you know, we're sitting around in my house, like we got Disney Plus on. What do you want to watch? Let's watch Cars. See ya. Out the house. Go and watch it in
Who
your own
recommends that in their right mind?
time. Humans,
There's
apparently.
like 15 Pixar movies that you could watch before Cars.
Literally, nearly any of them. Nearly
You can
any
watch
of
Point Break.
them.
Like, you could literally watch anything else.
You can watch Ratatouille, and that movie was also kind of garbage too. But I'm just hating on Pixar. I'm sorry, Pixar. Honestly, I know you're listening as well, along with the Black Eyed Peas. They're hanging out. But I love your movies. Your movies are great, just not Cars. Don't ever make any more Cars related things because it's not very good. It's just not.
Wow.
Wow. It's just I've never hated more characters in a movie than Cars. Like I hate Lightning McQueen. I hate that stupid Madoff thing with his stupid teeth. Get out of here, you dumb ass. And I like the dumb characters, but he's just downright annoying. It's like he's
Yeah, he was
stupidly
awful.
annoying.
Fucking Larry the Cable Guy.
Just growl. I'm frowning the whole time I watch that movie. It's like that puppet mouth you get when you look like you're on a string and you're like, and it's like, this is why I'm going to get wrinkles when I'm real old. It's like because of Cars. I'm never ever, if I ever have children, I'm never putting them through. That'll be their punishment. You're grounded. Go watch Cars. In that stupid.
Something related to that, my wife and I are very anti-SpongeBob for our children. So,
you lost me.
yep.
You lost me.
I
Now,
figured,
what's next?
but I
What's
wanted
next?
to put it
What's
out
next?
there.
You're gonna say you don't like The Simpsons? Like,
Oh no, love this.
I don't like new Simpsons that much. It's kind of
No.
lost its pizzazz. But
Yeah.
old Simpsons, sign me
course.
up. I watch that on
I've
Disney Plus
been
all the
watching
time.
it on Disney Plus actually.
Hey,
Yeah.
up to like season 12 or 13, and then I'm like, I'm gonna
Mhm.
just go back to
They've
the
kind
start.
of done everything. Yeah.
And then it gets weird but The Simpsons is great. But SpongeBob, I mean, I'm not gonna hate on SpongeBob. I can't do that.
It was before, or it was after his time. I'll put it that
It
way.
was, but also I have a younger brother and sister whose time it very much was, so I had
That's
to watch
true.
it and I
I
hate it.
grew up with SpongeBob. SpongeBob was just
Yeah.
like on all the time.
Yeah, my brother's 21 and my sister's 20, so it was very much their time.
Yeah. Well,
So-
I'm 24, so I know that like that's
Yep.
just
Yeah.
what Nickelodeon. I was always watching Nicktoons, and like I grew
Yep.
up on the time of like Lizzie McGuire and That's
Yup.
So Raven and Hannah Montana. That was my jam. Drake and Josh, like all of those shows.
Even
were, like,
Stevens.
even Stevens. I mean, I just watched all Nicktoons were just and Disney shows was just what I watched all the time. So I grew up
Yeah.
on SpongeBob and the Fairly Odd Parents and Jimmy
Yep.
Neutron and all of those shows. Our Real Monsters and all of those kind of
Yeah.
stuff. I love all that kind of stuff. So that's a good little segue for what we can talk about next time. We can just dive into the world of Nicktoons because I could talk
Oh
about
my
that
God,
all
yes.
damn day. All damn day. But yeah, these guys are lovely. I've had a lovely chat with these dudes, so don't think this will be one and done. I'm pretty sure that we'll do more stuff like this. And if you ever need a guest on your show, hit your boy up because
Absolutely.
I will be there. Just got to work out time zones, but that's really not that hard because apparently
No.
I don't sleep anymore because I'm just on TikTok. So just hit me up and I'm like, yeah, it's 4 a.m. I'll come on the show. I don't care. Brew my coffee and I'm good to go. So this is your chance, of course. Put yourselves over, plug away what you've got to plug away, promote anything, and talk yourselves up.
Okay, so you could follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, MySpace, Foursquare, StubHub, whatever. You
Tumblr.
find us at Royally Rumbled. If you want to follow us individually, I, Jordan, can be found on Twitter and Instagram at JL24FPS.
And I, Robert, can be found on Twitter and Instagram at Yesball. And also, if you're interested in listening to us talk about movies and TV shows and stuff like that, our other podcast covers a lot more of that stuff than Royally Rumbled does. That is at Pop Cannon with a K. Pop Cannon.
Pop.
Because we're special. Don't forget the K.
Special K.
Yeah.
Make sure you go
but
and
we
listen to their
also-
shows. Yeah, do your
Yeah.
YouTube plug too.
We also have a new thing started up where we're going to be doing a 2008 universe mode in WWE 2K19. So hopefully we're going to start cranking out weekly episodes, and we're still trying to iron out the details on that. But I mean, as it happens, you will all see.
I was like, as soon as I seen, like I said earlier, I was like, as soon as I seen that, I'm like, oh, this is my lane because I love video games. Everyone knows that I love, and wrestling games especially. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. And then when I seen you were doing a draft and what year you're doing, and then I was like, yes. And then I seen Robert's team, I'm like, oh, he's gonna crush Jordan. This is gonna be great. This is gonna be so good. So you can follow me, of course, Josh Robinson 00 when these episodes come out because I will be live tweeting them.
No,
Thank
that's
you.
awesome.
Awesome. Dude, we're
And-
so excited.
Oh, I'm excited to watch it. I love shit like that, especially when it's just like two friends, just like, because that's what I did anyway with my friends, like my brother and all of that. We would have drafts in universe mode and we'd play and just kind of, and it's just kind of cool just to like watch that. And I can eat snacks and not have to worry about controlling anything. So I'm good. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. But yeah, thank you again for having us on, though.
Yeah, man, absolutely. It was awesome.
No
We
problem.
definitely got to do this more often.
Yeah, we definitely do. Like I said, long overdue, and now we've done it. And now it's like, what else can we talk about? Because there's much more. So from all the fellow Cars haters, I hope you have a lovely day. And if you're a Cars lover, I hope your day's not that great. Just saying. Just putting it out there. I'll speak for myself, but I'm just putting that out there. Of course, you can continue to rate this podcast 5 stars on iTunes. If you're watching on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. Make sure to check out the rest of the shows on the network this week. And I guess I'll catch you on the Josh Robinson show. If this is the only one of my shows that you listen to, I'll catch you next Wednesday. If not, I'll catch you tomorrow on Brothers by a little bit. Until then, peace out.